What's going on, guys? It is your boy Junior from PNP Customs coming back at you with another video. Today we have a 2021 Jeep Cherokee. Now this client came in to get a radio upgrade. Yes, a 2021 vehicle coming in for a radio upgrade. You would think by this year they would have good radios by now, but no, not at all. So we're going to be installing this Tesla style upgrade, and we're going to show you guys the interior of what we're replacing. A 2021 vehicle with, I think it's an 8-inch screen, very small. I think it's even smaller than 8 inches. It might be even 5 if I'm not mistaken. But look how tiny that screen is. Even when you put the backup camera, it gets even smaller with those fat borders. That is a tiny screen. Story behind this is the client just bought this car and she's looking to get immediately a Tesla style upgrade because she wants a bigger screen with a lot more functions and features. So let's get it done. All right, now that we have proper lighting in here, very simple to remove this radio. I can compare it very similarly to the Jeep Grand Cherokee. So first, we got a client calling. Be right back. Funnily enough, the person that was calling was this client, the owner of this vehicle. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on the job. So as you can see, most of my power panels are broken, so I do need to get new ones. But let's go ahead and get this started. Like I said, it's pretty much as simple as the Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's held in with 7mm and a bunch of clips. So go ahead and pry this open. It's hard to do it with one hand, but if you're a professional like me, anything is possible. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound so egotistical. Okay, well anyways, just stick your power panel here, and then see if I can stick my hand in. There you go. See, and then okay, let me do that off camera. It was these pesky clips up here that I needed to tug off. Everything is easier with two hands. So after you do that, you can go ahead and press this tab down and pull it outwards. So that is your climate control gone. All right, now you can either use Phillips for this or a 7mm. I'm gonna use a 7mm, so let's go ahead and remove those. After those two 7mm are removed, the only thing holding in the trim is clips. So you can go ahead and get underneath. There you go, you hear the clips clicking off. Pull this outwards here. There you go. So again, there's like pesky clips. I think it's 2 here, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my phone down again and remove that. But just do it with the right amount of pressure. Don't do it too hard, because if it's not coming off, it's probably because you're pulling or putting pressure in the wrong place. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my camera down and take it off, and I'll come back to you guys when it's off. All right, so I finally removed it. It was these clips here. Those are incredibly tough to take out. Let me tell you something, guys, that is gonna be difficult. Now, something pro tip is never use a power panel tool on a tight crevice which is surrounded by leather, which would be this. In this scenario, if you stick your popper panel through here and you pry like this, yes, the panel will come off, but the sacrifice would be that you crease the leather. So what I was doing is I was sticking my fingers in as much space as possible, and I was pulling straight out towards me. You don't want to pull slowly like that. You want to give it like a little yank like this, and that, and it will come off, but they're incredibly difficult. But after you remove those, there's going to be one plug here. It's going to be a tab at the top. Go ahead and push that down. Left and right usually helps. Boom. So now all that's left is to remove these 4 7mm. So go ahead and remove those. All right, so I laid down the radio here so it doesn't really scratch anything, but each one of those clips and plugs will have a latch at the top. What you do is you push that latch down and pull outwards. There you go. Very simple. This one as well has a latch at the top here. Push that down and it will come off. And we are done, I think. Awesome. That is, oh, never mind. There's another latch here. Hold on. I thought I was done. Push that latch down. Okay, now we are done. Check it out. Now you have a Jeep Grand Cherokee radio in your hand. So that's pretty much what we all had to do for the disassembly. Let's go ahead and bring this stuff to the table and start assembling the Tesla style and the harnesses to plug into here. Now, before we start talking about harnesses and all that, first we need to transfer over some stuff that the original kit has onto the new one. So obviously we need to transfer over the air vents and the hazards buttons and the park sensors and the lane tracking. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the lane tracking buttons. So it's held in with 4 T15s, so we're gonna go ahead and remove those. And then it's a bolt-on fitment, so those same exact screws with the same exact holes, you're gonna put them onto the new kit, which would be the Tesla style. So let's go ahead and remove these 4 torque 15s. You want to make sure you're not putting it upside down as well. All right, now that we got those out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and take it off. It's held in with clips, so pull the clips outwards. That way it comes off like that, like this. There you go, it comes off very simply. And then we can put this aside, and then make sure you guys can see. There you go. Same exact holes onto the new one, put the new torque 15s in there. All right, so after you put the torque 15s, this is what it looks like, nice and tight. And this is what it looks like on factory fitment. No gaps, made directly for the Cherokee buttons. Look at that. All right, so we can put this aside. And now the next thing we're gonna transfer over is the air vents. All right, I'm gonna just show you how to remove one and transfer it over to the new one, as the other one is the exact same thing. There's no reason for me to show you guys the other one if it's a rinse and repeat process. So we're gonna go ahead and make sure you guys can see. So I'm gonna be working on this one. So each one has each corner has like a tab. So a male and female, it pretty much like latches on. So what you gotta do is you just gotta pull it outwards. Let's see if I can show you guys. Like this one right here, what you do is you just pull like that. Same thing on the other side, pull. And eventually, you're pulling them all one by one, and eventually, little by little, it'll become more loose. Hopefully you guys can see. There you go. Very simple. It doesn't get easier than that. Oh, I missed one. There you go. Ta-da! So we're gonna go ahead and send this on the other one. Make sure it's on the corresponding side. So this was my right air vent. So we're gonna be installing it on the right air vent. Factory fitment. So all you have to do is just push it in. Just make sure everything is lining up before you do. See. Make sure everything is lining up. Okay. Since there's so many clips, it's like a little difficult to line all of them up at the same time, but eventually you will. There you go. Look at that. A little bit of patience, and you'll get it done. So that's how one side looks. Let's go ahead. Ooh, I'm not even showing you guys. That's how one side looks. So we're gonna go ahead and get the other one done. I'm sorry for the bad camera angle, by the way. Damn, does that not look crazy? That's gonna look good on that vehicle. So that's the air vents put in. Now let's go ahead and flip it over. Now we're gonna go ahead and install the harnesses, but first we can install some stuff here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove them from this pile. That way you know exactly what you can install right now. All right, so what you're gonna be installing right now, because it makes life a whole lot easier, is your backup camera input. So this connector is gonna be the first one. I'll show you guys where I'm plugging it in. Just push it in. You gotta hear it click, that way you know it latches on. And then we're gonna be doing the 4G connector. This is where it sucks in that internet. You can go ahead and install that right now onto the radio. Since it has a double-sided tape, you go ahead and stick it onto here, and then screw this onto the 4G one. They're labeled. So check that out. So this goes here, and you stick this on here. It's a lot more organized that way. After you do that, we can go ahead and bring all these harnesses into the vehicle. All right, I was having a conversation here with the boss, so you guys are gonna hear a little bit of mumbling in the background, but I'm gonna be speaking over the video, a little overlay to help you guys. So what I did here is I installed the aftermarket, the antenna adapter. This is the USB adapter to recuperate the original USB, and then the SIM card and the 2 USBs. I ran them towards the driver footwell because you guys know I like to put them in the glove compartment, but there was no space there. Alright, next is the main harness. It's impossible to mistake this. The big plug goes with the big plug, so we have the male and female. Just make sure it matches up. You can see I was putting it the wrong way the first time. So it simply has like a little lock that you have to push up, or push down I mean, and it clicks itself in nice and tight. Make sure it clicks. There are plenty of different packages for this kind of vehicle. So there's different yellow RTA males, which are your video inputs. One of them will be your backup camera, so you have to test each one of them out until you find your backup camera. So here we have everything set up. We're about to go ready to get everything installed. Installing these plug-and-play radios are beyond easy, but it doesn't hurt to have an extra person holding in the radio while you're plugging in the harnesses, as there's going to be quite a few that you need to plug in. So you have your factory ones here, and then you have the aftermarket ones. You have to make sure every single one of them are plugged in, especially where they all go. They're all uniquely shaped, so it's hard to plug in the wrong one, but every single one of those plugs have to go in. All right, guys, and this is the big reveal. Look at that gorgeous display. Calling this an upgrade compared to what you had before is a complete understatement. This is a complete new different world. Like, this is not in the, she's gonna sit in here, it's gonna look like a different car. Check it out. So obviously she didn't lose anything. She recuperates her steering wheel controls. We can talk about nothing being lost first. Volume down, volume, there you go. We can do the backup camera as well. So if I do reverse, not only is the backup camera amplified on a bigger screen, but it implicates those sensors that are here. It implicates those here, so it tells you that there's something behind. I think right now it's recognizing that the fridge is pretty close to the rear bumper. So that's pretty good. Go back to park or drive and it'll go back to where you were. Now you have your radio here, your radio FM. If you hold it, it automatically searches for the next station. Then we can lower the volume. Then you also have your volume knobs here as well. For those who don't want to lose their volume knobs, you do not lose it. Check it out. Now you have, you didn't lose your climate control. You can now either have it digitally, so you can tap on the screen and stuff like that. And then you have your modes, stuff like that, temperature. You can touch it out here, or you can do it on here, which is pretty cool. The physical button. So if I do vent speed up, see how it's obeying. And then you have your lane tracking off. There you go. See how it turned on. Very responsive. You have all of your different settings here. Temperature as well. See how they're both responding. Check it out, man. Turned out very beautiful. Right now they're on an RGB cycle. The reason why is because I have the parking lights on. So when the parking lights are on, it automatically illuminates the buttons. That way you know exactly what you're tapping on. Some people don't like it that it's illuminating like RGB colors and stuff like that, like rainbow. So you can touch the settings and have it just one solid color like white, red, or blue. So that's also accessible. It recuperates the original microphone as well. Some people don't know that you have a microphone up there. By swapping out the radio, you lose it. But when you get a Tesla style radio, specifically this one, it automatically recuperates it using the harness, so you do not lose that. So when people call you, they're still going to hear you as equally as good as before. All right, so that is your climate control. So to showcase the radio, this is the apps here that comes pre-downloaded into the system. Now you have a Play Store here. If you have a Google account, you can put that on there and download a lot more apps: YouTube, Netflix, Prime Video, the list goes so on. Everything that your phone can do, this radio can do as well, because it's pretty much, the best way I describe it is that it's pretty much a brand new phone for the vehicle. All right, so we can do CarLink. CarLink is going to be your wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, or we can give it some Wi-Fi. Let's start off with some Wi-Fi. If you hold this, we can give it some Wi-Fi. That's the business's Wi-Fi. I'm gonna go ahead and tap in the password and meet you guys in Chrome. All right, so we gave it some Wi-Fi and now I'm on Chrome. Obviously it'll look a lot more better and a lot more zoomed in on the actual YouTube app, but I'm using Chrome for now because the client himself has to put in his Google account on the Play Store and download YouTube, but Chrome works just as fine. We cannot complain. But yeah, this is the, I have to play my videos because every time I play like a YouTube video with like music in it, I get copyrighted to the extreme. But we can go ahead and press on a random video. See how incredibly responsive it is? Do you see that? I tap on a video, skip forward, boom. See that? And steering wheel controls also work here as well, not just on what's factory. See that? You can go ahead and skip into these beautiful Tesla style radio for the Toyota Tundra. So if you have a Toyota Tundra, check it out. But right now we're talking about a Jeep Cherokee. But yeah, this is pretty much how it works. Volume here. If I'm not mistaken, this is the vent speed. Yeah, there you go. See how the vent speed is going up? So this knob here is your vent speed, and this is the volume. Very simple. We can turn off the RGB colors by turning off the headlights. There you go. Because when you turn on the headlights, it automatically assumes that it's night, because that's when you would turn on the headlights, of course. But that's pretty much how it works. You have your buttons down here. Can I say something funny? When we were installing the radio, we were confused because there was two harnesses I mentioned before we installed it. The one that goes towards the climate control and the one that goes towards the buttons. And if you guys noticed, before the climate control was down here and the buttons were up above with the radio. If you guys have a Cherokee, you guys know what I'm talking about. But now with the Tesla style, the buttons move down here and the climate control is here in the middle. So you actually have to reverse the wiring. We were plugging in. It's like, why is it not working? So just in case you guys are having that problem, that's how you troubleshoot it. You just have the wrong harness. One goes up, one goes down. But yeah, that's pretty much how it works. Factory fitment, no gaps. Check it out. beautiful. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the CarLink app is going to be your wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. In the Tesla styles, we don't have it in separate apps. We have them both in one app right here. So whether you have an iPhone or an Android, you're going to be using this app. I have a Samsung, so I'm going to be using wireless Android Auto. We both know that it's the exact same thing. They just look different. It's just different companies, but they both do like maps. They both do messages, music, and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and connect my phone through Bluetooth, no longer USB. Now you can use USB if you want, but the new connection is a lot more convenient, where you just come inside the vehicle, turn on the car, and through Bluetooth the radio recognizes your phone and automatically connects to it. That's very convenient. You don't have to pull out an ugly wire of USBs you know, from the dash and connect it to your phone. Not at all. You can do that to charge it now, but not necessarily to use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So I'm going to go ahead and connect my phone through Bluetooth, and I'll be right back.
Check out that display. When it's on Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, it just makes the radio look so much more modern for some reason. I don't know what it is. But yeah, if you had an LG, Google Pixel, Samsung, or any other Androids, then it would be this. This is Android Auto. But if you have an iPhone, it still works. The radio still works with your phone. You would just have a different kind of interface, which would be wireless Apple CarPlay. Both do the exact same thing as I mentioned earlier. They just look a lot more different. But you can see that the steering wheel controls are also working here. I can switch the songs. I can go forward. I can go backwards. All that good stuff. But this is what I mean. When every single pixel is being used of that screen, that's when it gives it that modern look. Back in the day, and they still do it now, where they say they're giving you a 13-inch screen, but it has some thick borders, so it's actually got 12.1 screen. So this is how you know it's a really good radio. Every single inch of that screen is being used.
Now, I do believe that there is a high-end package of this vehicle called the Trailhawk, kind of similar to the Trackhawk for the Jeep Grand Cherokees. Now, what it is that it comes with like extra features, and I just want to let you guys know that it does not lose that. Now, they're not going to work on this vehicle because this is not a Trailhawk, but what it is that you'd go to car settings, and then depending on what you're looking for, so if you're going for performance pages, then this would be the gauges, and then driving modes would be this one. So everything is here. The gear shifters, everything that should be on the Trailhawk would be on here. But since this is not the Trailhawk, and I think this is like the most economic package they have of the Cherokee, then it's not really gonna do anything important, no. So that's pretty much a small showcase of what this radio can do. You can do so much more. Anything that your phone can do, believe it or not, this radio can do as well, as long as you give it some Wi-Fi, of course. Right now it's on the business's Wi-Fi. Now you can either do this through Wi-Fi, which is the first one I mentioned. You can do a hotspot like from your phone, or you can do SIM card. You guys saw that we ran a SIM card earlier in the video for the client. So if she wants to go to the Metro PCS or T-Mobile store and get a SIM card where she pays monthly $15, that way she doesn't have to keep turning on her hotspot or Wi-Fi. It automatically has its own internet. Then that is also an option that you can go for. But everything works as it should. Even these RPM, this RPM monitor, it's not fake. Look, so if I press on the gas, see that? Check that out. And right now it's stationary, so it's on 0 miles per hour, but that also works as well. But yeah, you guys know we do it best here at PNP. This is the radio we have to offer you guys in the Jeep Cherokees. As I mentioned, you can do so much more with this. This is just a small showcase and installation video. You guys can now check out this video on my website in the description.